Okay, hey everybody, Des from Ask Des Merrow. I'm here with Laura Ragle, CARR's #3 rep in the country, and a very good friend of mine. And I wanted to give you kind of an opportunity to tell us your story. How did you get into real estate?
So it started as a journey from even 10, 15 years ago. I was in sales and just had a business focus for all my clients. Was always looking at the not just supplies and sundries that we were selling or even their equipment, but I was always more focused on their business solution, the greater aspect of their business. I worked for a company that had brought in an outside vendor that specialized in lease renewals, and I thought I should be doing that. And here we are. So,
and you have a background in dentistry, right? You were a hygienist,
yes.
And then you worked for Shine.
Yes.
So you've been around the block.
Been in dentistry over 20 years, and actually still in dentistry, right? I still get to help dentists, and that makes me feel like I'm still part of that world.
Right, exactly. And so you're in LA. So what are you seeing in the market in LA right now?
So, there's a lot going on in LA. We're up for a new governor, new mayor. I think a lot of people are hearing horror stories of LA. And it's true, we've had our challenges. Hollywood was our biggest income source. We lost a lot of those production companies. They've gone to Vegas, they've gone to Texas, they've gone to Atlanta, other markets. But LA is a resilient place, right? It's had ups and downs throughout time. It's not going anywhere, but you have to be a little more competitive in this landscape. You have to think outside the box to get deals done. You have to look at emerging markets. We're seeing shifts where the coastal cities were always really, really popular. Now we're seeing a lot of that growth happening further inland as cost of living is a major concern in that market, of course, too. But also then you have to take it into account where your staff is coming from. So,
right.
We're looking at so many different factors when we're thinking about deals or thinking about where someone should open their business.
Absolutely, and I'm sure where people want to live makes a big difference too. So when people want more space, they tend to go to areas where there is more space. So that's probably what's helping grow the outcroppings around LA, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the economics, really. I mean, it's one of the most expensive locations. It's kind of always in the top 10 in the country in terms of cost of living. So if you want to open in Santa Monica, you have to think that maybe your staff might be driving, 2 hours to get to you with traffic.
Right. Is there a particular vertical that's doing a little more business than another? Like, are your dentists doing more business than your veterinarians, or is it a solid mix?
Veterinarians always such a stable market. I think. Thank you, Paris Hilton, for carrying your Chihuahua around in your bag for years. That boutique-y dog culture is very prominent in the Los Angeles area. It's also just a really beach-friendly town as well. Dogs can kind of go anywhere. People love their dogs there. Mm-hmm. So, vets do very well. People have disposable income, so they will pay anything to take care of their pets. They will pay that fee for that expensive surgery. They will do chemotherapy. They will, do all of these different,
all the things,
procedures.
They'll pay $500 for cleaning for their dog, but they wouldn't do that necessarily for family members because of insurance.
For themselves, right? Absolutely.
Right.
So, and I think with, in the metro area, 10 to 14 million people, we're seeing startups still at a rapid pace, and they're opening and they're being productive. I think this younger generation understands that they have to market differently, that they have to be cross-cultural, especially with the large Hispanic community. So just, having better ideas of how to make themselves front and center too.
And I'm curious, because I'm certain, obviously different than my market, but is there as big a concern for proximity to other dentists, or are people truly just planting their flag and saying, I'm going to differentiate myself?
Yeah, there's no way. There's more dentists in Southern California than anywhere else in the country. 1 out of 5 dentists who actually has a license has one in in California.
Right.
I think there's 14,000 dentists. It's virtually impossible to open and there not be competition within a mile radius. Mm-hmm. It's really just about finding your tribe and differentiating yourself, and the people who assimilate with you and the type of dentistry you provide, they're going to find you.
They're going to find you,
yeah.
Exactly. So do you have a lesson, a client lesson, or a quick story that really resonates with you, one that you won't forget? It was a lesson that you learned maybe?
Yeah, this is a deal I'm actually just working on finalizing right now. Client was interested in both retail, and she was open to looking at medical, but her heart was really in retail. And I said, let's just look and see what you get. And then she ended up really liking one of the medical spaces, so we negotiated the deal. The medical space gave her $35, same rental rate, but the medical space only gave her $30 a square foot in tenant improvement allowance, which is money the landlord contributes to help the tenant open. The medical building gave her $175 a square foot,
wow,
which is
significantly.
I mean, I was like, kudos to me for getting that. It's
right,
the highest amount I've ever gotten a client, but she chose the retail, and I was completely shocked by it. But the truth is that was where her heart is, and so I think so many people get hung up on the deal economics, and I was really proud of her for just staying true to like where she felt like she could see herself every day, what felt like it most aligned with her, and didn't let a concession steer the deal, right? And I think that's part of what we're supposed to do as agents, is really like advise them, like, this is your home, right? This is where you're going to be 8 hours a day, and when you first open, probably even 10 to 15 hours a day.
Right. You have to be happy with it.
You have to be happy with it, and if you don't see yourself in this medical building, it doesn't matter how much money I got you
exactly
there. So it was a really like fun lesson for me, because I thought for sure she was going that route, but it also just proves to me that when you show people everything, it really gives them the ability to pick and choose what's best for them.
That's absolutely true. And if there was one piece of advice that you could give to a provider, whether it's somebody that's been in their healthcare vertical for a long time and they're looking to do a second location, or a startup, what's that one universal piece of advice you would give someone?
Follow your heart, really. If you have a dream of living at the beach, then just live at the beach and open, and you're going to make it work. Don't sacrifice, in a place like LA, where the traffic could take you 2 or 3 hours, don't sacrifice missing a baseball game for your kid, or a soccer practice, or dinner with your family, because you think that if you're in this certain market, it's going to produce, or this other market won't produce. I think that's the biggest challenge that we run into, is just identifying where to plant your flag, right, and where to really set up shop. And honestly, the most important thing is kind of where home is where the heart is, right?
Home is where the heart is, and knowing what you are willing and not willing to give up.
Yeah.
Can make or break how happy you are in your practice.
Yeah.
So, thank
Absolutely.
you so much,
Thank
Laura.
you.
It's always good to see you. I only get to see you at this event, so it's always good to see you. Thank
so
you
good to
so
see
much.
you. Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you.